Now that we've talked about what different parts of the product listing are, let's talk about how they impact how your shoppable content does as an Amazon influencer. I'm Liz, and I'm the founder of Fluencer Fruit, and I created Fluencer Fruit to help content creators succeed in the Amazon influencer space. And today I want to tell you a little bit about what we see on the product listing page that helps us in product research because we know that it impacts how our shoppable content performs. In my last video, we talked about the anatomy of a product listing, so we are very familiar with that. If you didn't catch that video, go back and watch that first just to make sure that you have all of the same terminology as we get started here. So, when you're doing product research and you are looking at the product listing, the first thing that I want you to look for is this upper carousel. Now, this is probably the number one factor that impacts how all of our shoppable videos do. And the reason for this is it's at the top of the page. It helps shoppers make a decision. People stop here first. Video converts better than text, right? There's a bunch of reasons that this is so important. But the other thing is that not every product listing has this upper carousel. So if you see an upper carousel, this one says 6 videos. And if you hover over this, it says click to see more videos. If a product listing has a video but does not have a carousel, it will say click to play, and it will actually play in this actual spot as opposed to popping up this upper carousel. So that's the number one thing you want to look for as an Amazon influencer is make sure that the product listing has an upper carousel. Now, I want to pause for just a minute because I'm not talking about if it doesn't have an upper carousel, don't create content for it. Exhaust everything in your house, right? This is not that conversation. This is just as you start to do product research and you start to prioritize your time, that's when this comes into play. But if you own it, create shoppable content for it 100%, right? Because it will make some money. Just if you're trying to optimize the product that you're buying and going to create content for, I want to make sure that you pick the product that has the best chance of success. So now that that disclaimer is over, let's get back to this. This carousel has 6 available spaces in it. So the next thing that I want you to look for is see if there are any open spaces available on this carousel, right? So this one says 6, it's full. So we're going to know there are no open carousel slots on here. Now, that doesn't mean you don't create content for it. It just means that you know that it's going to be a little bit more competitive and your content is going to have to be really good in order to win a spot on that carousel, right? Now, the next thing that I want you to look at is how many other influencers are already on this product listing. Now, at the moment, Amazon is testing only customer reviews in that lower middle carousel. So the only placement for shoppable videos is going to be up in this upper carousel. So we know that with this being the brand video in the top slot here, that these 5 videos are all Amazon influencer content, right? So ideally, if I'm picking a product that I'm going to go buy and create shoppable content for, I want it to have one brand video and no other influencers. Now, that's not always practical depending on the category that you're looking at, but that's the idea. You want a lot of sales, you want not a lot of influencers, and you do want an upper carousel. That's the promised land, right? Because then you have a good shot at having your content be placed by Amazon in this upper carousel. What I can tell you from our data is that videos that are placed in the upper carousel do 8 to 10 times better than shoppable videos that do not get that placement or are on product listings that don't have that placement available. So you're looking at that. Now, the next thing that I want you to look for is the rating, right? So this one is a 4.6. I can mathematically tell you that around a 4.4, it starts to positively impact the way that your video performs because more people see it, right? So, like if you think about yourself as a shopper, the better the rating, the more likely you are to look at the product listing, The better the rating, the more likely people are to buy it, right? So I want you to aim for that like 4.4 area and above. Now, the next thing that I want you to look at is the price. And we're going to break this apart for just a minute because obviously price impacts how much money you make off of that product, right? So, around that $100 mark, obviously 1 to 4% of $100 is much better than 1 to 4% of $20. But if you are strategically buying, hitting that $100 mark makes a big difference in how well make commission, right? Um, but I want to split this. If you're shopping for a daily use item or something that you are going to buy for the household or for your house, I want you to weigh these things against the best possible product listing setup that also fits what you need it for, right? So I'm not going to spend $200 on a bookshelf that doesn't really work in my space just because the product listing is better, right? I'm going to pick the product that I want and pick the best product listing that fits that, right? So let's separate those two. If you're just buying with the intent to review, then these are things you're going to look at. Now, the next thing that I want you to look at is your commission category. And I want to tell you a little bit about this. So I have the Fluencer Fruit extension up, and we're going to match that. I'll talk about that in just a minute. But a lot of people stop here and try and match based on the BSR. The BSR is the bestseller rank. Now, that's also available down at the bottom of the page in the product information if you don't have an extension that pulls it up to the top for you. But as an example, this bestseller category is called home and kitchen. If you look at the published commission categories that Amazon pays on, there is not a home and kitchen category. There is a home category and there is a kitchen category, which is why we can use the BSR if you don't have a tool to kind of guide you, but it's not going to be a one-to-one because those two categories have different commissions attached to them. So where I want you to go is to aim for these 4% commission categories, right? Because obviously that's going to make a huge difference. If you're looking at a $100 product, it's twice it's $2 to $4. So it makes a big difference there, especially when you start stacking up sales based on volume of sales. But if you're looking at just the bestseller category and you don't have a tool that pulls this out for you, then the thing that I want you to look at is like, okay, this is home and kitchen. So it could be in that home category for furniture, which is the 4%. So you can use it kind of as a directional, but probably not in something that will be like an absolute decision on what the commission looks like. But you can look at that published commission category sheet from Amazon and just kind of like take a look at that and peruse it. So those are the other two things that I want to show you is if it is low in stock. Now, throughout the last couple of years, we've had a lot of supply chain issues, right? And so I usually don't create, or if I'm shopping with the intent to review, I try to stay away from products that are showing low in stock. We just have had too many issues with supply chains to know if that product is going to get new inventory before it goes totally out, or if they have the ability to sustain that. So if it's something that you're considering and you just want to kind of wait and see, you can give it a couple weeks and see if they replenish the stock. Or sometimes sellers with the really big items, because the storage fees at Amazon's are so significant, sometimes they will do what's like just in time inventory, right? So it will almost always say low in stock, but they'll continuously put stock in to avoid storage fees. So that's something where if it's low in stock, you can kind of watch and see if it's a big item that you really like. But otherwise, if there's another listing that works for you, I would just go ahead with something else. And the other thing that I like over here on the search page is sponsored. So when I'm doing product research, I like to see if the brand is spending money. And this tells me a couple things, right? One, if they're sponsoring spots on this page on Amazon, that means they're paying for people to come hopefully look at my content when my shoppable video is on their product listing, right? The other thing is it tells me that hopefully they have enough inventory to support the fact that they're driving sales to their product listing. But also they're invested, right? So they're not just posting a product and running away. They are invested in this process and driving ad traffic to that product listing. So those are the things on the product listing, and one just briefly off the product listing, that when you're doing your product research, I want you to be looking for, right? If you just have to pick one thing because you're clicking in and out of different product listings, pick that upper carousel and how many video slots are available. That would be the one tip. Pick that one thing. If you can do the rest of this, definitely include it because it makes a difference in how your videos do. So with that in mind, we will close up this video. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments down below, and I hope that helps.